Good morning. I'm just gonna wait a little while, let everything load. I hope all of you are having a fantastic day. It's Thursday, Friday. It is. Don't have a clue. It is Friday, and I am Victoria Kopp with Victory Life Coaching. I'm going to talk to you guys about burnout today because it happens to the best of us. But a little bit about me. I was in the military for 6 years. I actually started in school or in college for psychology back in 2007, and then did a 6 year stint in the military. And through my experiences with the military and coming out of that, I actually came across life coaching and fell in love with the concept of what it was, how it helped people. So I got certified and then started my own business. I walked through PTSD and anxiety with life coaching, which is why I fell in love with it. It's kind of what helped me personally when psychology felt like there was like a missing link for me. And so I just kind of perfected that knowledge and those processes so that I could offer it back to other people. Because I know when I was at some of my darkest moments, I felt very alone, and I also felt crazy. I felt like there was no help and no hope because no one could ever understand how I was feeling. And I'm a very empathic person, a very sensitive person. So it was really, really important to me to offer that back to other people so that they didn't have to feel alone and that they didn't have to feel hopeless inside of whatever trauma or struggles that they were going through. And so I want to talk to you guys today specifically about burnout because it happens to all of us and what it looks like to walk through that. But first, if you guys are in a space where you can do this, I would love for you to get grounded. Either sit crisscross or sit with your feet on the floor. The chair that I'm in, because I sit crisscross all the time, I can't actually reach the floor. So I'm going to sit crisscross. And I just want you to make sure your back is supported, make sure that your shoulders can drop down, and just take a couple of breaths with me, because throughout the days and throughout the weeks, we really fight and really work through so many different things, right? Or sometimes it can feel like we're fighting. It doesn't have to, but sometimes it does. And to just be able to breathe into your body and take really deep breaths will help lessen the tension that your body is holding. So you may still have tasks to tackle, and you may still have things that are going to go on after this video is over, but just allowing your body that room to release a little bit of tension helps with cognitive function. It helps with immune function, and it helps with other lymphatic drainage systems and things that function inside of our body that are very important. So I just want you guys to take a second for yourself. Not listening to me, not trying to figure something else out. Just take a quick second for yourself and just be present with you and your breath for just a couple of seconds. Some of the most important things that I've learned through psychology, getting coaching certified, and then even through the military, when I was in the military, is just being able to take a few seconds for yourself changes everything. And sure, it may not change what's going on, and sure, it may not change what you have to do once you take those couple of seconds, but something about just acknowledging you for a couple of seconds changes everything. Most of the women in this group are actively entrepreneurs, as in they have their own businesses, or they're putting out their own products, or they're creating something, or they're providing a service. And burnout happens. Burnout happens, whether it's because we are trying to juggle too many things at one time, or maybe something major happens in business or in our personal life or with someone that we care about. And then we just feel overwhelmed. We feel tired. We feel like there's not enough of us to go around, or like we're not doing something good enough or correct enough. So, what does it look like to walk through that with grace for yourself? It can look like several different things. Walking through burnout can be ignoring whatever it is that's bothering you. It can look like pushing through it and feeling miserable for a longer period of time. It can look like laying in bed for several days. It can look like blowing up on the person closest to you who you feel like subconsciously you feel like can handle it the best. Burnout can look like very many different things. Walking through it can look like very many different things. But what does it look like to walk through it with grace? Burnout is something that happens because we are trying to sprint in a marathon. So we exhaust our energy for a period of time and then need to figure out how to build it back up. And the best way that I have found for myself and for my clients to build back up that grace for yourself, to build back up your stamina after burning yourself out, is to want to acknowledge that it was a burnout, to acknowledge that you wanted something to happen in a smaller or quicker time frame than it actually did happen in. Or maybe there were steps that you needed to learn or grow into, and you just wanted it all to happen so quickly, and when it didn't, you became very disappointed and you became very discouraged. So one is just acknowledging that the burnout happened and the reason why it happened. And then why was it so important to you for it to happen so quickly? You need to feed your family, you have bills to pay, you have other things in your life going on. You need this launch to happen, or you need your house to be clean, or you to feel safe and comfortable and organized. You need these things. So the burnout happened. Figure out why it happened. What did you need from what was going on? Why was it so important for it to happen in such a quick time space? And then from there, you're able to give yourself that grace. Think about yourself as if you're talking to a friend. How would you tell your friend in a situation where you know that they were overworking, or you know how amazing and wonderful they are, and then they're having this moment of feeling like a failure, of really being down and hard on themselves, of thinking that they're never going to accomplish a thing? How would you talk to that friend? What kind of advice would you give them? Would you be supportive? Because if you would give them good advice, if you would be supportive of them, if you would be encouraging of their end goal, and you realize and recognize that maybe they were just running through things too quickly, give yourself that same grace and that same feeling, and sit in that space of, wow, I've been taking on a lot. I've been accomplishing so many things. I've been getting my kids to school on time. I've been cooking for myself. I've been going to the gym. I've been, whatever the things are that you've been doing, or even if you're a single woman and you've just been focusing on your business. I've been focusing on my business for the past 7 straight days without seeing my friends very much, or if I see them, it's very late at night, so I'm getting less sleep. Like, whatever the truth is, acknowledge that truth. Allow yourself to sit in that space of just being fully present with you, and give yourself the encouragement that you would give someone you care about. It's interesting how differently our mind shifts when we go from talking to ourselves, because we have all of these expectations of ourselves. Well, I should be able to because I should be able to because I have before. I should be able to because I've seen someone else do it. I should be able to because I have no other choice or no other option. But when we're talking to someone else and we see a fuller picture of their life, when we're close with someone and we see a fuller picture of their life, we don't actually expect them to have a perfect family, have a perfect career, also have their own business, be in the perfect marriage, And if we do perceive them as having those things, on a day when they're not feeling great, we're going to remind them of the fact that they do. So when you begin to talk to yourself as if you are someone that you are friends with, as opposed to someone that you have all this expectation of, then you're able to start seeing the fuller picture of who you are, what you bring to the table, and where this burnout came from. And once you're able to see where this burnout came from, it's a whole lot easier to manage the feelings and emotions around it to help prolong it or prevent it in the future. We're taught as a society that we have to have, this certain image. And we in America, it is very prominent in America that we have to also work, 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 work. There's this meme, I see it and it's so relatable. There's this meme going around that's like, um, talking, in other countries, it's like, I am on vacation for the next 2 months, see you when I get back. And then the American out of office is, I just went for kidney surgery for 2 hours, but you can always reach me on my cell. So in America, the idea, the mentality is that we are always working. And because of technology, because we can answer emails or a cell phone, or, we have iPads and laptop computers and all of these things that in America we aren't allowed to rest, or we're lazy, or we're not going to achieve or accomplish. And so that is ingrained inside of us through our society, even if we were never directly told that, or even if we were never directly taught that. So we're running, running, running. We're sprinting in a marathon, thinking that we should have all the answers, thinking that we should do things perfectly, and we're not acknowledging the things that we're doing really well. We're not acknowledging all the things that we have on our plate, that even if we're not doing them in the way that we think we should be, we're still doing them. And it's still amazing, and it's still important for you to acknowledge those things. So we reach burnout because we have an expectation of ourselves that may be unrealistic for where we are in our life. Or we reach burnout because we have this expectation that, something should happen in a very specific way. And when it doesn't happen in a very specific way, we don't exactly know how to move forward. We don't really know how to proceed. And it's okay to need to take a break sometimes, and it's okay to not have all of the pieces together, but try very hard to, and then get disappointed when it doesn't work out. I know that I've been there in the beginning stages of my business. I was definitely struggling with a lot of burnout. I would spend hours upon hours upon hours creating content, creating courses, meeting with business coaches, and having all of these client calls that I felt ill prepared for, and actually caused me anxiety, because selling to someone was a concept that didn't feel good in my heart. And then reconciling all of those things, realizing that I'm not selling to someone, I'm offering them something, and wrapping my head around that space. So if there's an area where you feel burnout, to get through it with so much grace, talk to yourself like you're your friend, instead of talking to yourself like the person you have the most expectation for in the whole entire world. And then realize and recognize all the things that you are managing in your life. Even if you don't feel like you're managing them in the way that you should, you are still managing them. You're alive, your pets are alive, your kids are alive. The list can continue. You're still here, you're still trying, you're still showing up for yourself and for others, and that's beautiful. That's a thing to be celebrated and to get very excited about. And then the third thing, just really allow yourself to deep dive into why this is so important to you, and what it would look like to give yourself some grace. Give yourself a little extra timeline. Give yourself a little space to make mistakes, to figure it out in a better way. There's so many gurus, and some of them know exactly what they're talking about inside of getting something started quickly. And then sometimes we have to go through 5 business coaches before we find that person that knows how to help us specifically with the way that we learn a thing or the way that we process information to get something done really quick. But there is a learning process and there is a grace period before that happens. And we have these expectations because we see all these ads that it should happen as soon as we want it to. But the reality is, it's going to happen exactly when we're ready for it to. It's going to happen, and by ready, I mean really prepared mentally. We don't have to have all of the information to be successful. We're constantly learning, we're constantly growing. That's the beauty of life, that's the beauty of business. We're going to continuously get better. But when we have this expectation of ourselves that things have to happen immediately, or things have to happen in the first month, or even in the first 3 months or the first 6 months, most businesses don't make a profit in the first 2 to 3 years, sometimes longer, depending on what it is and how much overhead. So you're looking at potentially a 5-year process. I was told by a business advisor a while back, they don't expect to make money in the first 5 years. And if you can make it through the first 5 years, continuing to pursue, continuing to be consistent, then you're golden. You're not going to give up. You're not going to let the ball drop. So in the first year, I knew that, I had heard that information already, but in the first year, I really wanted everything to be successful. I mean, I had gotten 2 business coaches. Of course, I was going to be successful. I had to be successful. But I still had some work that I needed to do. I still had some grace I needed to give myself to understand the business process, to understand what it means to close on a call and not close in a way that made me feel creepy or close in a way that felt so robotic. Just naturally close because I knew what I had to offer. I knew what I had been through. I knew what worked. I knew what I had helped other people through in the beginning of my business and before I even started my business. And then in that space, I was able to create a little more traction and a lot more confidence and a little more success. So I really need you to evaluate and reevaluate where you're going, what you've already accomplished, what you feel like you still need to learn, and give yourself grace inside of that. Whenever you go to a dance class with a friend or for yourself, do you expect to be perfect at it in the first class? I know sometimes I do, right? So that might not be a good example. But if I take a friend with me, I don't expect my friend to get it perfectly in the first class, either because I understand their background in whatever class we're going to, a dance class, an art class, an exercise class, a yoga class. I understand their background. Maybe it's minimal, maybe it's been a while for them. So I give them a whole lot of grace, right? I'm like, oh, of course you didn't feel confident in what you were doing. It's been 3 years. Or of course you didn't get all of the choreo. This is only your second dance class you've ever taken. The fact that you picked up what you did is absolutely incredible. And then apply that to yourself. And I applied it to myself. And it really, really helped give me stamina. It really helped me reorganize and reprioritize what I wanted. And then getting clear on what it is that you really wanted from your business. So I know that I wanted flexibility to be able to show up for my friends and family in a significant way, to be able to help them with things, to be able to work my work schedule around my family, to be able to attend children's events and practices and be really involved in the lives of the people that I love. But I also need time for me. I also wanted this schedule so that I had time to show up for myself. So if I'm not allowing all of these things to be true, then what I'm trying to do is sprint in a marathon. And I'm going to get exhausted and I'm going to get hard on myself because I'm not going to be present for me. I'm not going to be present for others. And I'm not going to be fully present for my business, even if my main focus is on my business. And as an entrepreneur, we all understand how important that can be. But if you're not fully present for your business, even if your primary focus is on your business because you haven't given yourself the time you need, you're not giving yourself grace inside of the learning process, and you think that you should be turning a profit in the first year, first 3 years even, then burnout is inevitable. So to give yourself grace through burnout, talk to yourself like you're a friend instead of the person you have the most expectations of in the whole entire world. Recognize what you have been doing, all of the things that you have been taking care of, and any major life events that have happened. Life happens. People get injured. We have financial crises. We run into a sick relative, or we get sick, or we break a bone, or we whatever, have anxiety flare-ups, or maybe we deal with depression or whatever it is. You're managing all of these things, and that's very beautiful, and that's really, really, really powerful and impactful, because that just means that you do have what it takes. You've been struggling with anxiety, depression, familial issues, relationship things, and you're still pursuing this business. You're still going after what it is you really desire. So that's beautiful and amazing and absolutely incredible. And then find the reasons why you feel like you have these expectations of yourself. Understand the deep reasons why this burnout has occurred and why it's so important to you for it to happen in a time frame that it hasn't happened in. And then start listing all of the ways that you can have grace for yourself, all of the ways that you can show up for yourself, what you really wanted your business structure to be and to look like, so that way you can get back to that balance. You can get back to that baseline. I hope that all of you have a fantastic weekend and a fantastic Friday. I forgot what day it was, so now that I know I'm excited about it. I look forward to meeting with you guys again. I bless each and every one of your businesses. If you are looking for more guidance around giving yourself grace, or what it looks like to scale back on the burnout, then my website will be in the description, and you can check out my services, check out my business page. I'm so grateful I get to connect with each and every one of you, and I look forward to next time.